Why does the black man serve the white man? Why does everything the black man do benefit the white man? Why does the black man say freedom is doing what I want to do? And why is it that everything he wants to do enriches the European?
Welcome to the desert of the real.
No, we talked about this. We talked about this on your show and mine, but mostly on your show. And, we have a saying in Islam, and it says, die not unless you die the death of a Muslim, which basically means that, the death of a Muslim is supposed to be an easy death, like you die in your sleep or you die peacefully or whatever. But supposedly when you die painfully and slow and it's stretched out and, it's a lot of agony, this is to say that there's something that you deserve. And I think that, I was there for the first Million Man March, and I feel the same way about it that you do. I wasn't there for any others. And I saw all of the money. As a matter of fact, I was a lieutenant and oversaw, a lot of the money. And quite frankly, for all of that to go down and nothing to be done after, and people just tried to publish some BS statistics saying crime went down after the Million Man March. Like, what? Because we all in Washington, crime went down? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I remember seeing it 5 years later. What happened 5 years later? Crime went down. The crime went down basically because of technology and a lot of other things, like affluence occurred because, anyway, we could get into that in another show because studies will show that in 1995 and before 1995, we as a people was really, really freaking poor. And we're poor now, but if you look at us back in the 60s and the 70s, and, that's one of the reasons why the conscious groups were so full of people is because, people knew that, most people was poor and the only way out for them was a conscious group. Now, a lot more people got money and it kind of muddies the waters because you always have to choose between resources and liberation, and you got to be a very strong person to choose both. But, I agree 1,000%. There's definitely a heavy punishment, and you will not die a peaceful death behind that, man. You definitely won't. I was going to get to this, but I guess I couldn't get to it. But what I was going to say in the whole preach what you practice, since I have you there and there's nobody really in the queue with their hands up, I guess the last question I'm going to ask you before you go is this. I think a lot of times people who try to infiltrate the group will come at one of us or come at a bunch of us, and, if they're not, if I see somebody got beef with you, they're going to get blocked instantly. Before if I don't cuss them out first and then block them. If I see that they got beef with Roger, anybody like that, I'm coming to the defense. And I'm not saying that I'm this big character or whatever, but I'm another guy that has love for my brothers and my sisters. Basically, to me, I think that you are not preaching what you practice if you're a nationalist and definitely a part of the BAIO when you allow somebody in the circle that is an enemy or you deal with somebody in the circle, that's not in the circle, that's an enemy. What is your thoughts on that?
Well, let me see if I understand. You're saying if you deal with a person who's an outside agitator and you're in the BAIO?
Yes, like if in the nationalist group, period, because, I just think, Brother Holip, and I thought about this long and hard today. We mash on religion in the conscious community, in the Nation of Islam, we look at the Nation of Islam teachings as not necessarily a religion. We look at it as a way of life and your nature. And we are all mashing on religion and religious people and how they act. But the one thing I think that is good about religion is the closing of the ranks to the point where if you are speaking against Jesus, the whole congregation ain't messing with you. You know what I'm saying? If you're speaking against, Moses as a Jew or speaking against Jews in general, the whole community comes against you. What I think that we are not practicing what we preach in nationalism is when somebody has a problem with one of us, we don't all close ranks against that person.
Oh, you know why?
Why is that?
Because a lot of people identify with the agitator.
There you go.
See, just because a person is, all right, I'll use this as an example. You have a real fine girl, like Jane Kennedy level fine, and she's hanging out with a girl who ain't on her level, maybe like average. But that girl will hang out with Jane Kennedy level girl, be her best friend, roll wherever she goes, and hate her guts. But the reason why she's with her is because that girl gets a lot of male attention. So she knows if I'm with this girl, there's going to be guys around. So let me attach myself to her because I get something out of the deal.
Right.
The whole reason for her being with her is just disingenuous from the gate. And there's a lot of people in our midst that's the same way. They don't really have our backs. And you can tell when somebody outside agitator comes, they don't come in to defend us because they either got their popcorn out to try to see how the fight is going to go, because it's all entertainment for a lot of people. Or they secretly or like vicariously living through the person who's going at us.
Right. Oh man, that's I didn't even think.
It's sad, but you know, it's the truth. It's like there's not a lot of people who's really about this, who's really about it. It's a lot of strap hangers.
Yep.
You know, and you can take. This is why I say I don't judge people because I want to know something. Thank you for reminding me of this. This classism issue in our ranks, where we judging people by your class, what your income level is, and all of this other stuff. Let me ask you, here in America, which class of black people is free of white supremacy?
Not a single one of them.
So here we are, like jackasses, trying to make distinctions between us, where the people in power have no distinctions. They see no distinction between a Henry Louis Gates and a Mr. Holipsism.
Nope.
They don't see any distinctions. Like I tell people all the time, the white man knows us better than we know ourselves.
Yep.
Because we see all of these differences, all this nuance. Well, I'm not that type of black person. I'm this type of black person. Oh, I make 6 figures. I make 7 figures. I'm a professional. You're just a blue collar. All of this bullshit.
Exactly.
So when we look at these stories on the news and we hear about these people getting shot, it stretches across all economic groups, all income levels, all class levels. Why? All not only that, it stretches across all cultures. You're Caribbean, it doesn't matter. You're African American, it doesn't matter. You're continental African, it doesn't matter. You can get a nightstick shoved up your ass just like anybody else.
Exactly.
So if our enemies can see that they dealing with all one people, what's our fucking problem?
I don't know, man. I don't know. That's kind of what I was trying to say, brother, when I was saying, like, when you want to rule out, quote-unquote, Pookie and Ray Ray and say Pookie and Ray Ray did this and that and the next thing, do you understand what you're saying? You're saying you're not really a nationalist because a nationalist, a black nationalist, seeks to take black people and form a nation. Nowhere in that description, and I haven't, maybe I haven't been doing this longer than anybody else, but, man, nowhere in that description that I see it seeks to take the elite, the talented tenth, and those who fit this criteria, and not that. And like I said before, man, and I guess I can say it a little bit looser than I said it before. I've been around brothers and sisters who got a record and they can't work because the white man won't let them work. And let me tell you something, man. These brothers and sisters ain't joking, brother. All they thinking about is how they can turn the dollar into $5 the quickest way possible. And they could care less about filing a DBA. They could care less about, they'll go in there and get all their tax paperwork or whatever because in their mind they got to eat and they're, and the white man is blocking them from eating because they got a record. And you could say, well, you did that to yourself. But listen, everybody makes mistakes and everybody deserves a second, maybe a third chance. And what I know in my lifetime is I've dealt with a lot of brothers and sisters who, it took them 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 chances, and everybody's telling me, leave that person alone, they ain't this and they ain't that. And you want to know something? on chance number 7, they became the most faithful person I ever dealt with.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Because this is the thing that people don't see. I feel like I'm preaching to the choir because you already know this. I judge people by their spirit individually. I look at that person that I'm speaking to and see what I'm dealing with. Because a lot of these highfalutin, what do you call these people? These boule people, these upper the middle class people. Well, if we in a beef, we'll leave you flat.
Word.
And the guy who's supposed to be Pookie and Ray Ray will put a baseball bat to a dude because he tried to step to you.
Exactly. Quick. Really quick.
So, I don't go this is another thing, Minister. I'm so tired of people attacking religious people, and I'm not a Christian, but I'm getting tired of seeing these memes where people say, fuck Jesus, da-da-da-da-da. I'm tired of that bullshit.
Oh, my God. Yeah, me too.
I'm tired of it. Why do I have to do that? Why do I have to insult your religious beliefs? I think that our platform is perfect. We don't waste our time talking about religion. We start talking about land, infrastructure, nationhood. You can be whatever religion you want to be. Do you agree with that concept? Do you agree with those principles? Can we have a conversation centered around that? That's really the only thing we need to be talking about.
Exactly.
See, but the problem is you got a lot of moralists who are more interested in controlling other people's lives and dictating what they should and what they shouldn't do. And that's the reason why we get caught up in the minutia of this BS and not concentrating on what we should be concentrating on, which is nationhood. And don't tell me what you ain't going for, Negro. Don't tell me, oh, well, if there's homosexuality, I can't be in it. You in a nation right now with homosexuality, and what you doing about it?
Exactly.
You ain't doing a damn thing. You're in a nation right now where you have interracial relationships. What are you doing about it? So don't sit up there and tell me what you ain't going for when you go for every goddamn thing America has to offer.
Hook, line, and sinker. Word up. See, and that's the thing.
It just kills me. It's like we got these set of standards that we're going to apply for us, but we don't apply those set of standards for the people that we live in this structure right now. They can do anything, put us in any conditions, and we'll sit there and deal with it and say, please give me more. But when we start talking about having a nation, now all of a sudden it's all of these lines in the sand that can't happen because, I ain't going for that because I can't have a nation because blah, 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 blah. That is what you call bullshit. That's what you call Negro stalling tactics.
Yep.
And people are starting to see it. You talking about you getting excited. Let me calm down.
Oh, no. You it's the spirit of the night, bro. I'm gonna ask my astronomer friends what went down because I don't know what happened to me. But anyway, it's like that's why I asked myself, how in the world did the black movement turn into us against gays or us against? How did it turn into that? How did it turn from us trying to fight oppression and either build our own nation or separate or both? How did it turn into that? Because, listen, I got children, and I will admit on the radio show that I do not want my children to be homosexual because, like Kevin Hart said, I am a heterosexual man, and I do not want my children to be that. That being said, I also do not want my children to have to experience homosexual education in the kindergarten or in grade school or whatever. That being said, if it happens, I'm going to have to deal with it.
Right.
I'm going to have to deal with it. I'm going to either have to take my children out of homeschooling or I'm going to have to, sign some kind of quote-unquote petition. And in that case, you mean like if you go and you sign a petition, you might as well give $20, $30, $40 a month to BAIO and help us get this nation. Because, quite frankly, that's what you're doing when you sign a petition. What you're saying is you don't like what's going on, and you're still going to stay here and you're going to tolerate it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And for me, if you're a nationalist, if you want to preach what you practice, if you really practice nationalism, every time you see something you don't like, you should give to or join or be a part of BAIO. Every time you see something you don't agree with, every time one of us gets shot, you should try to go out there and get 5 more people to come into the BAIO. If you're a sister and you say that oh, the black man doesn't protect me. The black man is just like the white man. What you should do is you should go out and get 5 black men and bring them into the BAIO. Because, quite frankly, doing it here in America, what you're admitting is that you're powerless against it, and you're not going to do nothing about it. And if you're not going to do nothing about it, stop talking about it.
Exactly. And another thing is that the BAIO is not requiring anything from you financially. What we're saying is find other people in your state and connect with them so we can get a proper assessment of how many people are actually serious about this nationhood stuff and how many people is really just complaining and bitching and moaning and want to stay here in America.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
don't take it.
Let's get a proper assessment of who wants to go and who wants to establish something and who wants to continue to get their ass kicked.
Yep.